Good afternoon. Today I am sitting with Dr.
Keith Almond.
And we are sitting in
This is known as the Easter room.
The Easter room.
But I'm not quite sure why. I think because it was overflow at one time.
And this Easter room is in the
sanctuary is in front of us and beyond the camera for you guys.
All right.
This is a library and place where we have drama performances.
Very nice. And now we are sitting in is it the Connellsville Christian Church or the Christian Church of Connellsville?
The Christian Church of Connellsville, okay. But we answer to both.
You answer the phone either way,
right.
Depending on your mood.
If my secretary answers, it's always right. If I answer it, no telling what I'll call it.
Hey, thank you for making time for me.
Oh, sure. Glad to do it.
You've not been here terribly long.
No, I've been here about 4 months. I actually started a little bit before that. The church, well, I found out about the church through a mutual friend, and it was a God thing. I really felt like I was called to come here. Started out by just preaching pulpit supply, and to telescope it just a little bit, was asked by the congregation to be an interim pastor. So I did that, and then about, I don't know, less than 2 months, asked me if I could be called into this position as the pastor, which I did. I made one small change in that I have some responsibilities where I live. I don't live in Connellsville. And to allow me a little time for that, I've asked for a part-time job. And then I discovered that there is no such thing as a part-time job in ministry.
No, there is not.
So I basically have 2 jobs and I run around all the time.
You're either you're sleeping, you're a minister. No matter
That's right.
No matter what time of day, you're a minister. So 4 months. I noticed you don't know where the light switches are yet.
Not all of them.
So I am amazed that you even know a little bit about the history, being that you're so new.
I do.
Now, you were telling me this church is how old?
This church is almost 200 years old.
That's
one of
something.
the oldest churches in the Disciples of Christ denomination. It was actually founded a year before the Disciples of Christ denomination was founded.
Oh, wow.
One of the centers of the Disciples movement is in this area. It's just a little bit to the west of Little Washington. And this was one of the first churches started. Longtime
viewers of the Parson to Parson podcast, I guess you'd call it, is they would know that nothing warms my heart than to see an old church taken care of. Over the years, it's beautiful. It's as beautiful as it was the day they built it, I'm sure of that. It just, you see so many churches of this age run down, or they're no longer there. They've been demolished, and they're now parking lots. The fact that this has survived for 200 years, that's quite something. So how are things in Connellsville? Has it been an easy transition? How do you find the ministry, the people in Connellsville?
The people are magnificent. Good. They're just wonderful. I make a distinction between a warm people and a hospitable people. Warm people can smile at you and shake your hand and then forget about you when you leave. Hospitable people are not only friendly and warm, but they also care and are concerned about the community and the church and even me. And that's been so true here. My wife and I have just been warmly received.
Amen. I'm glad to hear that.
So it's still been good. The only thing that is any kind of a problem is we don't live here. We bought a house 3 years ago in Brownsville, and it's a nice house, comfortable house. So we've still got that. We haven't put it on the market to move out here, and it's very close to her job. So I think I'm going to end up doing the commuting for a while. It's a 30-minute drive, but it's not bad at all.
No, especially since
And
hopefully we're on the other.
That's your biggest problem.
Right. Hopefully we're on the other side of winter. I mean, anything can still happen.
I hope so.
But we hope so, absolutely. What do you think the challenge is in Connellsville? Are there any challenges? Oh, let me just say this first.
Yes.
We'll get to that. No, even though you've only been here 4 months, you told me you've been in the ministry 40 years.
Right.
So you've seen a little bit.
I've seen quite a bit.
Quite a bit, I'm sure. So coming to Connellsville, what are the challenges here compared to what you've come from?
Not a whole lot different than in Brownsville, just a lot bigger. There's a great deal of poverty here. And the last few years has brought on a lot of poverty in this entire country. People who had a little money before, or who might have been on the edge, are no longer on the edge.
Right, they've fallen off the edge.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing here. Now, Connellsville has resources that they don't have in a lot of places. There's a community ministry that supplies food, clothing, all kinds of stuff. One of the things this church did quite a while ago, 6 or 7 years, is they opened up a food kitchen. And it offered free meals to anyone who walked through the door. And this is every lunch for Monday. And they did it once a month for a while, and then it went to twice a month. And now we have it every Monday. There is no charge to anyone who comes in. And last year, and this is beginning to sound like a commercial.
That's all right. That's what this is about.
Last year, we served 7,200
My
meals.
goodness.
So it's
Wow.
that's a lot of people.
And that's weekly.
That's weekly.
Wow.
Yes.
70,
Yes.
That's amazing.
And we work with the community ministries, and we work for other with other ministry partners. So this is a very involved congregation. It's what I would call hospitable, because it cares about, these people care about the community. They pull up alongside and say, let me help you.
And that's every Monday.
Every Monday.
That's incredible. Now, what is the address of your church?
It's 212 South Pittsburgh Street, downtown Connellsville. We would love to have you here. Worship services are at 10:45 on Sunday. And this building is open almost all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Now, being that you've only been here 4 months, this may not be a fair question, but I know you've been in the ministry for 40 years. So what would surprise people about you being a pastor? If they were to follow you around without you seeing them, what do you think occupies more of your time than what the normal person in the pew would, the average person in the pew would expect?
well, what has occupied my time a great deal is the relationship we formed with people who really have a need for everything.
Right.
Housing, food. We've been working with a family that is in a motel, and we've been paying that motel bill weekly. We've provided food, we've provided information on where to get jobs. And these folks are kind of pulling away now, but they've gotten that boost that they didn't have before. But that takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
It
time.
really takes a lot of time.
And time seems to be going faster these days.
It does.
My goodness, it's just speeding
We're
along.
just getting older too.
Oh, well, yeah. I'd say speak for yourself, but no, that's...
No, not speak for yourself.
No, time is affecting all of us. So if I were to come here on a Sunday morning, what could I expect? Is it high church, low church, somewhere in between? I'm sure it's friendly, because you just said everyone's very hospitable. Yes.
It's not high church. There are 1 or 2 read prayers. There are hymns that are sung. We have a choir that sings music, and I'm part of that now. I haven't been in a choir in a long time, and this has really been fun. We have communion every week, and not a lot of denominations don't do that.
Right.
So by having the sacrament every week, that tends to be a higher church characteristic, but the liturgy is certainly not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you'd feel very comfortable. Services go about not quite an hour, almost an hour.
Mm-hmm.
15-minute sermons. So if that's long for some,
right,
short for others.
It's not, you don't need an intermission in your sermon.
We don't need an intermission. I could do that.
Oh yeah, but they may not come back. That's
right.
That's the thing with an intermission. Oh my goodness. Now you mentioned you're singing in the choir. What kind of music do you enjoy, and what kind of music is sung here? Is it from the old hymnals, or is it new contemporary songs?
It's popular music, not contemporary. Not in the sense of what some churches consider temporary.
Right.
It is not, it's not right out of the hymnal for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even think of what we're singing, and we're practicing tonight.
But you're not chained to just one sort of music style.
No, the
you're
minister
free
of
to.
music here is also the organist, and she's fantastic. She has this talent of being able to reach in the barrel and pull out songs that's not only singable, but also entertaining. I hate to use that word for church, but it is.
Well, it's better to be entertained than bored. So
Yeah,
yes,
that's true.
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we're at the end of the interview, but I'm going to give it over to you if you want to share just an encouraging word to get people to come to church, or share your favorite Bible verse, anything you'd like to talk about. The camera is yours.
Okay. Well, a lot of churches have experienced decline. A lot of churches are just the folks that have been there for 50 years and continue to hold it up. And there's no question that especially in the rural setting or the inner city like this, it is the stalwarts, people who have been around, the older adults are the ones who have held it together. COVID was very, very harmful. The way it was conducted, I think a lot of folks just got scared of it. They're afraid to catch it, and they just don't come back to church. And it doesn't take long to get out of the habit of not going to church.
No, it doesn't.
I think a congregation, though, has to be able to find their niche, and that takes a lot of prayer, and it takes a lot of energy. What is your niche in the community, and how can you become a part of the community so that they will talk about your church? And if we pull alongside the least, the last, and the lost, we work with them and for them, help them. If we gain a reputation for doing that, if we're serving the Lord in doing that, not ourselves, then I think you're going to find that things will change in the life of the church. The congregation has to study Bible. The sermons should be biblically based. And the people are supportive. The way some congregations have backbiting and people against one group against another group, all that does is destroy church. We live in a first century culture. Christianity is a minority as it was in the Roman Empire. And we have to get out into the community and make disciples. And we can always improve. There's a lot to improve here, but I think we are beginning to do that here.
Amen. Thank you for your time. I've had a pleasure. It's been a
Well,
pleasure
thank you.
meeting with you and talking to you.
Thank you. I love a camera when it's aimed at me.
And until next time, God bless.
Okay, God bless.